Y'all, this is part two, comedy of errors going live today. I'm trying to think of where we left off, and for those of you who hop back on, thank you for hanging with me for so long, and I'll make sure I link to the first video from this so you can all catch up on that. But just to kind of close up, we were just finishing up the live, but I saw a comment in there, and I've completely forgotten what I was closing on, but I want to read, Ruth left a comment, I want to reply to Ruth's comment and close out. Oh, I know what I was saying. The thought I wanted to close for you, and then we'll recap the invitation and the reminder here. And for those of you who didn't watch the first one, go back and watch video one. We were talking all about handling objections. But I think the thing to remember here is most people won't have this conversation with someone if you're the person who's willing to dive in and just get curious about what's really going on and to find out what is that thing under the thing. You are going to do more than 90% of business owners and service providers out there. And like that already is a win. And by leaning in and having that conversation with someone, you're also going to probably be one of the first people in whoever's life you're talking to who's willing to hold some space and have a conversation and help them shift a story that probably everyone else in their life is co-signing and agreeing. So I think that's just a really helpful reminder there, because I think it's so easy to get wrapped around like trying to find the right question or the right thing to say. And again, I think it's useful to like have some of those tools in your tool belt, but I think it's just a helpful reminder that if you have that conversation and you're willing to lean in and you don't shut down and either make it about you and get defensive or just hop off and like just take someone at their word, that in and of itself is already 90% more than most people do. And that is where the magic lives. And you can be messy in that, and you know, if like trying to discover it, like you can be messy in that together. And I say that just to give permission, because I think it's almost like that's why everyone's searching for like the script for how to handle this. Like allow it to be messy. Like that is also what's going to build that connection and help someone on the other side feel safe. I wanted to read, Ruth, if you're back live on, you had a comment, I wanted to read that and then we'll close out. Thank you all for jumping back on, because Facebook just is not my friend today. So Ruth had said, the fact that someone has made a step to have a discovery call shows that they're attempting to overcome their fears. But for those who really are in an unhelpful cycle will most likely have objections due to fear, and money is an easy excuse to cover it up. Ruth, you said it beautifully. That's exactly the truth. Where if someone's already on a call with you, like they're Ruth, you nailed it. Like they're already interested in working with you, right? And if they're at the end of the call and they've just spent all this time with you and you've determined it to fit, they're already interested. Whatever the objection is, it's no different than if I want to start working out and I suddenly am like, I've looked into things. I'm obsessed with Peloton. That's like my new thing. So let's say I've like figured out the Peloton classes I'm going to take this week. And then I tell someone or tell my man or tell all of you, it's like, I'm not doing this because I don't have the time. I'm sure everyone else watching could be like, that's just BS. That's just your excuse for why you're not going to do it, for whatever, fill in all the reasons. It's the same thing here. And that's what Ruth is saying. That's beautiful. It's like, if there's fear coming up, if there's insecurity, if someone doesn't trust themselves, if they're like fill in the blank for all the things, if they're not feeling ready, if they've like invested before and fallen on their face, like all the things that can come up. Objections are they're just excuses, right? That are like just dressed up in like convenient sounding things so that like someone will leave them alone. And it's just like, just train your brain to see like, just to start seeing them as like, this is an excuse, this is an excuse, this is an excuse. It's not about me. It's an excuse. Can I help someone see it's an excuse? And can I help them get like curious about what this excuse is really about? You're always going to win. Even if it's, you know, not a yes, you're going to serve someone through being able to see that excuse and yes. Ruth, thank you for saying that. I think that was beautiful. And I think, because the comments aren't popping up here, I think this just notified me that there's that someone else left a comment. So let's just see, and then I will leave you all to, yes, okay. So Marie says, glad I finally caught you live, but just at the tail end, I will listen to this in its entirety later. Thank you for joining. I'm so glad to have you here live. Oh my gosh, no, that's the other live. There's all these comments that I didn't see. And Ruth says, nice to have you back. Nice to be back. Facebook has just been a funny thing today, but I was just shouting you out, Ruth. I really I think that was such a brilliant way to summarize and to like put a bow on what this conversation was about. So as a recap, now that we have 2 videos that I will link to, as a recap with objections, the thing to remember, the truth about handling objections, the 2 truths I want you to remember. It's not about you, like your business isn't about you. I'm always saying that to clients, but truly when objections come up, they're not about you. And that's the piece to remember. Like, can you do the work to separate yourself out? Like, check all your stuff over here and to remember objections aren't about you. And 2, objections are rarely about what someone is saying. And whatever someone is saying, most likely they really believe. And so again, your work is, can you help someone see that it, like, what's the thing under the thing, and help them see for themselves and stop buying their own excuses and stories. If you can help them do that and not make it about yourself, you are going to enjoy sales calls so much more. You'll see them as a beautiful conversation. They will feel like magic. And I promise that feels really good on the receiving end as well. And it feels a whole lot better than when you feel like someone's not listening to you and just trying to like cram convincing numbers and things in your face. Promise. And if you don't believe that, I think just a helpful thing for everyone watching kind of as a tail end is think about conversations you've had with people. This doesn't have to be a sales conversation, but just like think about either things you've bought in your life or conversations where you had your opinion changed. Like, we're always selling to one another, whether we're selling a service or whether we're selling someone on our ideas or our opinion. Think about how it feels in those conversations and what feels good on the receiving end. I don't want to talk about politics, but think about if you feel strongly about politics, like how does it feel when someone tells you, no, you're wrong, versus when they want to open up a conversation to hear more about it. Like, that's such a more effective way to open up and like to have a effective conversation. Same. Like, that is sales. That's the same thing when you're having a conversation, a sales conversation. All right, I'm just making sure we don't have any other comments. I don't think so. Thank you all for bearing with me on all the technical difficulties today. Hopefully for our training next week, maybe I'll have to do this through Zoom for our training next week to make sure that we don't have all the Facebook tech difficulties. But thank you for being here. If you're watching on the replay, drop questions, reflections. I'm happy to answer anything. And then I will make sure I drop the link for next week's free training, and I hope to see you all there. Lots of love and talk to you soon. Bye.